Hi guys, Fernandes, Lembo, 2 turkeys for Turkey Week here on the grid.
Wow, it's good.
John, last week we had state final in volleyball. We got the regional finals in football, but let's look back at the Venice Indians winning another state title under Brian Wheatley.
Yeah.
You saw them play quite a bit this season. You weren't at the match, but just talk about expected that they were going to do this, or maybe not so much.
It's funny, when I did the volleyball preview in the rankings, I had Manatee first, Venice second.
Right. Oh.
I wasn't too far off.
You weren't far off.
But I put that in my tweet when they won. I'm like, now I'm the guy I thought they finished second in the area. But no, great season. I guess got a tweet from them, actually, Venice Volleyball on Twitter. Right. They finished 18th in the country in Max Prep's rankings, first overall in the state of Florida. That's all classifications. So dynamite year. They lose 2 seniors, so they're going to have a good team again next year. They beat a good Leon team from what I read. Math was at the game, and Given how often I saw them, I'm not surprised. I mean, their front line was incredible. They played great defense. They're one of the best volleyball teams I've seen, and it's 5 state championships now for Brian Wheatley in Venice.
What you just said earlier, I guess I have to believe that there are 16, 17 teams across the country that are deemed better than Venice.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, what they finished? I think 6th in that Chicago national tournament. Right. So yeah, but I mean, just a dynamite volleyball team, and they beat some good teams. Manatee is a good team. They from what Matt said, they dominated Aquinas in the state semis. Well, they have 3-time defending champions Aquinas. They just swept right through them. Beat a good Leon team, so great year for Brian Wheatley and the Indians. And hey, you know, Brian Wheatley's schedule is a tough schedule, and that's why he does it for this kind of thing. And after what I saw, not really surprised that they won a state title. You know,
reading some of his comments, I think as this process was going this season, a little surprised that they got what they did. But coming back next year, only 2 people leaving, you'd expect them to be right back where they left off.
Right, and it's hard to kind of say you expect that because it's so hard to reach a state.
You almost have to with Venice, though. I mean, the expectation.
Right. Well, the expectation is going to be big, obviously. But you know, I mean, you know, now everyone's going to be gunning for them in the area and in the state. But I'm sure Coach Wheatley's going to challenge them like he always does. Another tough off season in terms of getting ready for the season. So yeah, but they're so fun to watch. I mean, like I said, they hit from all angles and. Just not surprised they won a state title given how good they were this season. I'm glad they won the state title because they finished second and Wheatley threw the trophy into the bay and I have to write that again. I remember that. Yes, I remember that. Didn't happen this time. Didn't happen. Congratulations, Coach. Yep. Moving on to football. 2 regional finals. Well, before we do that, we had a football champion too, St. Stephen's. Oh yes, we can't forget St. Stephen's. Winning its second straight up there. Yeah, it's a second straight Sunshine State Championship athletic conference. You were at that game. I was the first team to win multiple championships in that conference in football, and of course the first team to do a back-to-back. So huge accomplishment for St. Stephen's, Todd Crandy, and they were dominant, 49-21 over Windermere Prep. Ray Lewis was there. His son Rashawn was on Windermere Prep team. Something orange. What was he wearing? Ray Lewis, you said. A T-shirt and jeans and a hat. He was not wearing any U. You didn't get the joke. Okay. I know. I get it. Oh, very good. Windermere Prep was undefeated too, right? They were 9-0. They were, yeah. So looking forward, do they have a lot of people graduating? Well, should the team be back next year? Yeah, they're losing Fred Billy, their quarterback, who Coach Cranny informed us a little earlier. He's been invited to the FACA All-Star Game. I think the first player in history of the HIP program to do that. They're losing Chase Brown, the running back. They're losing a lot of pieces, but you know they'll return some guys. I mean, I don't know if they'll be as dominant as they were. I mean, they were dominant this year. I mean, I think this is the closest game they played, and it was 28 points. But I think they'll be all right. They'll be a playoff team next year in this conference. And hey, the thing is, these last 2 years, I'm sure more kids now want to come out and play football at St. Stephen's. So maybe the kids who are a little reluctant, some of the athletes, they want to play now. So maybe they'll be able to kind of fill those spots internally. You know, St. Stephen's is one of those programs, schools that attracted academically. Oh yeah. But the athletics are right there also. You got to be sort of a dual student to really participate, be a true student athlete. Right. There, right? And the thing is, you know, I mean, they've always been good in soccer. For a while there, they were pretty good in baseball and softball. Their track team won a share of the state title last year. The tennis teams are always good. So athletics at St. Stephen's has always been pretty good, but football is new to the party because they were really struggling for a while with numbers and quality and stuff. But yeah, just a great 2-year run for the 3 years. I mean, 3 straight years going to that championship game. They've won it back-to-back years, and what a great job by Todd Cranny and that staff. I got to hand it to Dave Glazer, who used to be a sports writer down here, and now sort of runs things up there. So he's communications. He's a communication guy. Yeah. He communicates very well. Let's talk about football.
We got a couple of regional finals coming up on
we
Friday.
Do, yeah, both in Sarasota County.
Let's first time since 2004 that we've had 2 Sarasota County schools in a regional final. The last one being the 04 one when Riverview met Sarasota here before 12,000 fans.
Yeah.
Riverview went on to lose to Aquinas. That was a John Sprague coach.
That was
team.
a year before I got here.
Right, that was in 04.
Yep.
Looking back on last week's game, I was at the Braden River Venice game. Venice had won the previous 3 games. I know you weren't at that game, but I'm telling you, Venice just really went up the gut on Braden River. And the combination of Carpenter to Hiley, I know there was that matchup we were talking about, 4 catches, 3 of them touchdowns. Really impressed by Venice. I thought the winner of that game might go on to win the state title. We shall see.
The state title? Well, I mean, they played Tampa Bay Tech, who I saw. They beat Palmetto last week.
Yeah.
Tech's a good team. The quarterback, Michael Penix Jr., is a Tennessee commit, and you watch him play, you're not surprised. He's going to the SEC. He's really good. I just think Venice has more firepower. And I didn't see anything on Tech's defense that makes me think they can kind of hold Venice down offensively. Palmetto was in that game, and they threw a big interception from the 6-yard line early in the game. They scored there. Who knows? They lost by 2 touchdowns. So they score there. Who knows? It could be a different game. So I think Venice does win on Friday night.
One thing about Braden River game, Venice really, maybe they went in with the mindset of stopping Fenwick. They were held to fewer than 100 yards, but Gagg ended up throwing over 350 yards.
Yeah.
So this quarterback, I mean, could he maybe
I think
do the same thing?
I think if he does, it's not Venice's fault. This kid's really good. He has good receivers. He's very mobile. He's the real deal, and I think he's going to put up some points. But again, I don't know if Tampa Bay Tech can stop Venice from scoring. So it might be a shootout like we saw last week, but I think Venice is the better team. They need to shoot one on Friday.
How about the other game? I mean, if you're looking at Riverview going this far, you're thinking, okay, Riverview being the seed they were, be on the road, have the major upset. Now they're hosting a game.
Right.
You did the story on Allie Boyce, rushes 50 times. I talked to Coach Smithers.
Made me look good.
Yeah, he was, but he was a little bit almost embarrassed, sheepish that he had to give him the ball.
Right,
I said, Coach, he probably wanted it.
Right,
and he did.
Yeah.
So what do you've seen Riverview now. What do you think about that team going?
I haven't seen Phillips this year, but I mean, they beat him last year.
Right.
Phillips beat him, but who knows? Different year, different time. Phillips beat top seeded Osceola, which beat Manatee, if that means anything. But yeah, it's a 3-4, and it's funny. I was at practice earlier before that. And Coach Smithers even said, if we win against Vero, we'll be home in the Ram Bowl against Phillips. They kind of knew Phillips was the better team.
Right.
And so they're kind of prepared for this game. And it's going to be a great environment at the Ram Bowl. Long time they had a game this big there. So it should be a lot of fun. And again, having not seen Phillips play, I don't know. But I think Riverview is really hot right now. I mean, they went to Vero Beach and beat a team that won, 43 games in a row at home? They beat them. So they're a really hot team. We'll see.
I called up Smithers and I left a message. I said, yes, I'd like to talk to the HT All-Area Coach of the Year, please. And he got me back within 2 minutes. And then I asked him, I said, I did the story
Are you in charge of picking that?
No, I'm talking to Peacock and Smithers.
Right.
And I said, who's the better coach? And as he said, they should just call it the John Peacock Award every single year, obviously tongue-in-cheek.
Did Coach Peacock agree with that?
Yeah, Peacock would agree with anybody that's saying he's a great coach.
Right.
But really, 2 great jobs done by a longtime coach and a first-year coach at Riverview.
Well, I mean, yeah, but
he's had experience, obviously, at Mooney.
Right, so it's not like he's a brand-new coach. Right. But, yeah, he's done a great job there. Kind of, he was part of the offense last 2 years. Now he's done a great job this year. I think they're 11-1. And, yeah, Coach Peacock's done a great job, too. They haven't missed a playoff since he's been there, since 2007. I'm going to have a story today about their run at home. They've lost 2 home games in 4 years. 3. 1 to Armwood in the playoffs, 1 to IMG, 1 to Manatee. No shame in losing to those 3 teams. So they're going to be home tonight. And if they win, I think they're home next week too, because Venice has more points than Aquinas or Doral out of Region 4. So
it'll be a great environment. I don't care whether you're taking the Venice game or over here at the Ram Bowl.
It's gonna be a lot of fun. So you have a pick of if you don't have a dog in the fight, you have a pick of 2 really fun environments to see on Friday night.
And as a guy who got to Venice last week, get down there early. Because when you try to navigate that Indian way, it
and
can
that's
be
in my
tricky.
story too. Drew Strike, the linebacker I talked to, said, there are times if you get there an hour early, you can't find a seat.
Right.
So
because the Indian fans, and that's one of the reasons it's so great. They're in their stands early when they should be.
Pack some leftovers and tailgate.
Right. Exactly.
Get there early.
One last thing we had in the paper, Dennis Maffezoli wrote that Riverview hired their baseball coach to replace Chuck Anzac.
And you kind of called this one.
Well, I mean, it was kind of a done deal. I thought when Anzac was fired that Jeremy Schmidt would be hired, obviously the Booker connection.
Yeah.
So he's got the gig, and but Chuck ended up over at Sarasota Christian, so it sounds like everybody landed up on top.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, it's good that Chuck's still in the game. He's a good baseball guy for the limited dealings I've had with him.
Right.
Jeremy did a great job his last year at Booker. 11 players made a regional final, so I'm sure he'll do good good things at Riverview. Yeah, we'll see how it works out for both programs and both guys, but I'm glad that Chuck's working again.
Yeah. Anything else? What are you doing for Turkey Day? Are you taking your family out, or are you cooking the bird?
We're hosting. So.
You're hosting?
Yeah.
Okay. You're not on the road, you're hosting?
Yes, we're hosting. We're the higher seed.
You're the higher seed. I mean, do you, I know we're going to get going. Are you big into deep frying the turkey, or do you cook it a traditional way?
We cook it traditional way. I don't want deep fry. Too many fatalities.
Really? Yeah, that's splashing.
Yeah, I stay away from that.
Well, whatever you guys are doing out there, have a great Thanksgiving. And John and I will be back next week to hopefully preview 2 more games.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yep. So we'll see.
So for John Lembo, I'm Doug Fernandes. Have a great Thanksgiving from all of us here, all 2 of us on the grid.